Hello and welcome to Family Style Dining Early Head Start Teacher Training Module. My name is Tatiana Larianova and I'm the Nutrition Manager for the Neighborhood Place for Early Head Start, the division of Early Learning Coalition. And this training was designed for teachers to learn about family style dining with further implementation in classrooms. In this training, we'll talk about the definition and the benefits of family-style dining, the specific roles of all participants in family-style dining, and the strategies on how to implement family-style dining. We'll also talk about nutrition education for children. Well, family-style dining is a concept of everybody, adults and children, sitting together at a dining table and sharing the same food, just like we would do in a family setting. And family-style dining aims to create a dining environment for children to learn table manners, also to learn how to use different utensils and to eat a variety of foods. It also aims to develop children's social skills and physical, gross, and fine motor skills. It promotes teacher-child interaction and relationship, and it helps children develop healthy eating habits through learning their hunger and satiety cues. They're serving themselves as much as they need and either not finishing their meals or asking for more if they need more. There are different components of family-style dining. On the child involvement, one of the components is washing and setting the table. Children are invited and engaged in setting the table. So there could be different chores given to different children when developmentally appropriate. So children of the age of 2 and above are more suited for this chore actually. So one child could be given a set of napkins, the other one set of utensils to pass along or just place on the table, and teachers should model these activities first so children could see and then repeat after. Some children could be bringing food to the table in communal bowls, for example, if it's a side salad or a bowl of bread rolls. And then they also pass and share food in communal bowls, sitting at a table. And at the end, they are invited to clean up and to pick up. So they take their dirty dishes to a designated area. They could be invited to pick up the rest of the stuff from the table. And teachers are modeling the behavior. At least one adult teacher should be sitting at the same table with children and eating the same food with children. So that would be modeling. And now it doesn't have to be a full-blown portion, like lunch portion, but at least a little bit of food so children could see that the teacher is eating the same food. Teachers also model table manners, right? We talk to children, we teach them to say thank you and please, and modeling passing the communal bowls with side dishes or salads from one to the other. And also trying new foods, very important for young children to learn different foods. Teachers help them in encouraging them to try new foods and in modeling eating those foods themselves. So at this point, children actually choose whether to eat or not. They may even refuse to eat. Also, what to eat from the variety in front of them and how much to eat. It is very important that the bowls, pitchers, and utensils are of child size, so it is easy to handle for them. And the groups of no more than 4 children are also encouraged, so it is easier for them to practice their new skills and for teachers to assist them with that.
Listen. See the spout? I'm going to pour the milk in the cup. You do it by yourself? Here, hold it. I think it's better if you stand. Okay. That's enough. Yay! Stand up, please. Stand. I'll give you this picture for your milk. There you go. See the milk going right after that spout. Pour it in the cup. Hold the handle. Good job. Stand up, Ryan. Hold the handle, and the milk come out like a little spout. I'll move this for you. This is yours. We're gonna do this again. Hold it. Put it in the cup. Woo! Awesome. Good job. You didn't spill a drop. Good job. Stand up now, please. Stand up now with your milk. Stand up. You can have juice. She's about to get a little bit. I have to wait. Vanessa can do it. Look. When you pour, the milk will come out the little spout. A tea party. Tea party. This promise. Girl, tea party. Pour your milk. Now hold it. I'm not gonna help you. I'm gonna do it. Whoa! Come on, Zoe. I know you're a big boy. No, you're gonna do it. Stand up. Pour it yourself. Hold it. Hold the handle. Hold the handle. Pour your milk. Awesome. That's all you want? All right. You want more? Say more.
So as you can see, teachers are assisting and explaining how to do that, right? Pouring milk out of the pitcher into a cup, and the excitement on children's faces, they see the cause and effect, right? It's almost playtime, but now they are actually engaged in an activity that is related to their daily needs and habits. So they're more engaged in this activity, and they are usually more likely to try different foods, in this case, milk, and they're learning to hold that pitcher and to pour as much as they need. And as you saw, the teacher asked, "Is that all you wanted?" And the little boy nodded, yeah, that's all he wanted. And the teacher told him, well, if you want more, ask for more. So that's also teaching children to learn about their own needs and their bodily cues of how much they need, how much they are satisfied with. So family-style dining provides benefits for children. It builds independence. Starting at age 1, children in early Head Start and other settings, in childcare settings as well, are set at the table, and they are given their own set of utensils and a plate. And with teachers' help and assistance, they are eating on their own. So that gives them the sense of autonomy and kind of participation in their own activity without being prompted to do something or being fed, right? It also improves their self-feeding skills and recognition of hunger cues. So they are practicing their fine and gross motor skills. They're more capable of holding the spoon or a cup. It also encourages the development of language skills and social skills. So they learn different words of different items on the table, and they learn different foods and different colors, and they learn table manners. And it provides opportunities for teacher and child interactions, right? The teacher is assisting and helping and explaining what goes where and what different things are called, different foods are called, promotes the learning environment and the positivity of teacher-child communication. There are also benefits for teachers, the same benefit of child-teacher interactions. It brings the two closer together and helps in building trust and respect and caring environment. It reinforces other lessons such as taking turns and recognizing different food items. So this activity actually helps with setting certain rules that are applicable to other activities, right, in different place settings or learning environments. Taking turns is very important. It decreases food waste, believe it or not, but children learn how much to serve themselves, and it may not come on day 1, but with time they learn to recognize how much they need to satisfy their hunger. And it also improves mealtime behaviors. So children are given an opportunity for independence and autonomy are more likely to be calmer and to be more engaged in the activity as opposed to fuzzing about it. Get to plate. Okay. I guess it will be one of our videos.
Good job. All right. Good job. Thank you. Yeah. Want your milk? Give it a try. Take a try. Oh, you want to use this again. Take your milk. Okay. Good job. All right. Joy, you want to give it a try? Okay, here.
As you can tell, younger children get more assistance from teachers as they learn the concept of serving themselves. And you see the communal container on the table, and I believe this is an apple pie. That particular video was taken during the initial family style dining kickoff at Shays Learning Center. And the teachers did a great job, and children were engaged and excited and fascinated seeing how what this new activity is becoming so much fun. So children do learn, though. At the beginning, they may even stick the serving spoon into their mouth. So that will change as they understand the idea, and they learn the difference between their own spoon and the serving spoon. Family style dining provides opportunities to build healthy habits. Not only children practice table manners and learn new words or new activities at a table, but it also introduces children to try new foods, and the whole setting encourages them to try new foods. All of a sudden, they're more curious when they start serving themselves and they see their peers and their teachers eating these different foods. And it provides opportunities for nutrition education. This is a great learning setting for teachers to talk about different foods, name them, talk about their origin, where they come from. Either they grow in the ground or they grow above the ground on trees, and what color they are, and how many of the pieces of food are on the table. So there's counting, colors, shapes, textures, tastes. Children learn about healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grain, and sometimes foods, and we'll talk about that later in the training. So as children learn about these foods, they're more likely to try and develop the taste reception for these healthy foods. And as we mentioned before, teachers are modeling healthy eating behaviors, right? They're eating the same foods and they promote eating those same foods. It teaches children the correct serving size, which, as I said before, will not come on day one, but with time they will be able to gauge appropriately how much food do they need. And through family-style dining, variety of foods are offered, and they are passed around the table, and children choose what to serve themselves, what to eat. And it teaches them food safety and knowledge. And that is that they are not to stick the serving spoon in their mouth. Serving spoon is only for serving, right? While their own utensils are the ones they use to eat, or not to stick their hands in their communal bowl or their own food for that matter, and not to share the same spoons with their peers. So that is being supported. So now let's talk about the role of the teacher in family-style dining setting. The teacher is responsible for creating a positive eating environment, right? So teacher is guiding and leading the activity of family-style dining. If the teacher has a calm and inviting voice with a smile on their face, encouraging and assisting and helping, not forcing, not fussing, encouraging healthy eating, modeling healthy eating and table manners, and following the child's lead in making feeding choices. Now, just like in that video with the little boy pouring milk out of a pitcher, when the teacher asked, that's all that you needed? And the boy nodded, right? So teacher is leading based on the child lead. So what is the positive eating environment? We do not force children to finish their food, to clean their plate. And food is also not used as a reward, right? So to eliminate from this mentality from developing, this is a no-no. This practice should not be present in our settings. Instead, we encourage children to listen to their hunger and satiety cues. You can, as a teacher, you can explain to a child what hunger feels like. Maybe it's growling in the tummy. Maybe the tummy is hurting a little bit. Or maybe they feel very weak and they have no energy. They just want to sit down, or they have a little achy head. So these sensations, if you ask the child and they can explain that, they can relate that to hunger, and also satisfaction when they had enough, but not too much. So they're not too tired after a meal and they still feel like playing. And usually children are very much in tune with their cues. They are in tune with their body needs. They're more intuitive with their eating habits. They usually stop when they had had enough. And sometimes we as adults wonder, why did he eat so little? Is that really enough for him? And we get a little frustrated because we kind of already anticipate that an hour later he will be hungry again. And if that's the case, feeding on demand is encouraged with infants and young toddlers, so that should not be a problem. Young children are still learning, their body is still developing, and it takes time for them to get those developed schedules of their true physical needs like eating. And it's also important to note that children could be picky. Well, they often are with foods they eat, and it takes them time to get used to new food, even to try new food. It may take them more than 15 times before they actually try a new food, and then even more times before they actually like the new food. And you've probably seen it in childcare settings or at home, and it's important not to give up, but continue offering the food. And as children see their peers eating the food, the teachers eating the food, they are more likely to try it, and with more exposures and more trying, they will learn to like it too. How do teachers encourage healthy eating? Well, first of all, everything from the menu are healthy options. And then with the modeling healthy eating, teachers are already encouraging eating the same foods for the children. And through creating a learning environment and experience with different foods by explaining where they come from, children are more likely to try them. Important to keep offering new foods and being a good role model. And also let children choose new foods. Sometimes they may be actually curious about a new food and they will turn down a food they had before, but they would like to try a new food. Also important to note to offer one new food at a time and avoid forcing children to try new food. Encouraging is yes, promoted, but forcing is not. And what would be the role of the child? Well, children do choose what food to eat from those offered to them. And at that point, yes, you could encourage them to try other foods, but can't force them. So maybe next time they will be trying other foods. And they also decide how much to eat. And family style dining helps with that because they are provided an opportunity to serve themselves. And if they serve too little, they can ask for more. If they serve too much, they won't finish their food. Now, again, there's a learning curve at the beginning, and the children will be learning how much to serve themselves. They can request smaller portions of a food or decline any food item completely. And if they decide to try something later, then the same declined food, they will do that too, and that is not to be discouraged either. Or they can request second helping, and to ensure there is enough of food for everybody, teachers could explain to children that after everybody is served, and if there is food left, then second helping will be given to them. How to successfully implement family style dining? First of all, practice. Practice makes progress. It will be messy at first, it will be confusing a little bit, but just like with everything, with time and practice, it'll get better. And we are not chasing perfect here. It will not be perfect, and none is desired, really. It will still be messy, and milk will be spilled, and food may end up on the ground, just like with regular non-family style dining. So I think it's to be anticipated, and don't stress too much about it. It's important to establish certain rules for meal times and discuss them with children before the meal time. For instance, there will be a rule of setting up the table, and different children will participate in that rule, right? There will be a rule of being polite at the table. So these are just examples of different rules, and whatever works in your settings, or it could be the same rules you've been using before, now you just incorporate them in the family style dining. Introducing different skills and strategies should be gradual, so children are not overwhelmed with all the new content all at once. So, for instance, pouring out of a pitcher, if a child is hesitant, our teacher helps and shows and models how to do that, and with time, child will get around it. And don't try not to do everything for children. For instance, you may assist by supporting child's hand in serving themselves, but don't just grab the hand and kind of do the whole thing on your own. So give an opportunity for the child to practice that skill themselves. And if they want to help to pass around napkins or utensils or pick up after, don't stop them from doing that. Invite them, encourage them. These are all components of family style dining. Very important to purchase child-sized utensils like serving spoons and tongs and communal bowls. Communal bowls should not be too big so children can pick them up, and if they have a rim around, very helpful too, so they can hold it with their fingers and then pass around. And we don't require any uniform, any specific brand really. Whatever you can find, whatever is the most economical, it makes sense for the center. The center may already have some of those, and they could be used in that. And structured transitions are very important. Children don't have a notion of time, so they don't necessarily look at the clock and know that lunch is coming at this hour. So creating these transitions between the playtime and the mealtime, something you're probably already doing, and just consider keeping those transitions so children don't get frustrated, and they have this kind of sense of stability and security of schedule. So supporting family style meals, as I mentioned, with the appropriate serving utensils, that's one of the components. And prior to starting family style dinings, these items should be purchased. You can use pictures of different foods to build language skills, like index cards, or just even downloaded pictures from the internet. You can let kids play with different play food, like plastic fruits and vegetables and utensils. Like so many centers actually have this play kitchens where children can practice the table manners, and that will all come handy. Younger children should be seated near adults for easier assistance and help. You should allow children to take the lead in their mealtime activity. For instance, if a child says, oranges are fruits and they come from a tree, so pick up on that and continue conversation. So do you know where they grow? Do you think they grow here in Miami? What color are they? Where do you think orange juice comes from? So these are just some examples of doing that. And very important to allow enough time for family style dining. It will take time while assisting all children serve themselves, and then 45 minutes to an hour should be sufficient for them to finish their meal. Other activities should be reinforced, like sharing and talking about colors, shapes, and math, like how many pieces of carrots are on a plate, for instance. Sharing in a sense of passing the communal bowl, and child may ask the other child, could you please pass the carrots? And the other child will pass the carrots, and the teacher may kind of step in and converse about this little activity, that this is wonderful, you are sharing this bowl of carrots, say thank you, say please, and so on. Then different foods could be introduced through different fun activities and books, through the index cards, through books that would talk about the origin of different foods and the health benefit of foods. And it's also important to talk about sometime foods versus anytime foods, and what are those? So here is a little activity to sort food into two groups of everyday foods, or anytime foods, and sometimes foods. So healthy foods, healthy whole foods like fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and berries and nuts. Those would be your everyday anytime foods. These are the foods that support your health and your growth and development. And then sweets and snack foods like chips, candy. These are sometimes foods which taste good, however, they don't provide as much nutritional value as other foods, and those should be enjoyed sometimes. And this is it for this training. I hope it was informative. Next activity you would need to do is take the quiz, and it is a 10-question, mostly multiple choice quiz. So this will assess your knowledge base acquired from this training. Thank you, and bye.